The Pesky Report is sponsored by High and Happy Catering out of Springfield, Massachusetts. Their chef, Michael Best, can cook anything you want with or without being infused with cannabis. Check out some of what they make on their Instagram at High and Happy Catering or call them at 413-785-8999. You'll be happy you did. You are listening to the Pesky Report, a podcast dedicated to the Boston Red Sox by Red Sox fans. Let's go!
We did it. We did it. We made it happen.
End of podcast.
Yeah.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Pesky Report. This is episode number 110, presented to you by Belly Up Sports Media. Brady, you're muted.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, that checks out. With me today, we have Hogdale, Brady, and Brandon. Boys, how are we doing this morning?
I'm fucking immaculate. Fucking go Sox, kid. Go Sox. They got their guy. Let's go.
The Red Sox got Trevor Story to play a position that he doesn't normally play over his former team, who offered him more money to play the position that he's used to playing. That is phenomenal. I am stoked right now.
Brady, how you doing, buddy? I see you changed your name.
My name for today is okay. I was wrong, right? like
what were you wrong about?
I didn't think Heim could do it. I was nervous he didn't have it in him. In fact, I believe he didn't have it in him to sign a multi-year deal to like a big star player in a big market, because you can't just shake it off, right? But you give a 6-year deal that's maybe 4, maybe 7. Who the fuck knows? Heim got creative, but he brought in a bat that this team needed. He brought in a presence in the infield that they needed. I was wrong. Thank you, Heim. You waited. You sneaky, sneaky son of a bitch. You do your killing early Sunday morning. Well, early for me, but god damn it.
I broke the news to Brady by calling him 4 fucking times this morning to wake his ass up. Because I know that Brady likes sleeping in on a Sunday. Because Brady, what were you doing last night at 2 a.m.?
I was enjoying myself a little bit.
Were you knocking a couple back?
Little bit.
Woke up a little tipsy, thinking I was lying to you?
I wasn't even awake. So, I mean, it's like I went from comatose to you were telling me a story. Right?
A Trevor story.
Right. I was like, this better not be a dream. I was like, if I'm fucking dreaming about Brad calling me about Trevor Story of the Red Sox, I'm holding on a little too tight. Just a little too tight.
So, gentlemen, Hogdale, you wanted to go over some information for Red Sox fans on Trevor Story, talk a little bit about his splits and the information that everybody needs to know about him.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Well, like the first thing to really note is that people are worried about Story's road splits, like when he was playing for the Rockies, which on the surface is a bit concerning, but I'd immediately point to look at DJ LeMahieu after he left the Rockies. He got better when he went to the Yankees. If you're a great player who plays for the Rockies and leave, you're still going to be a great player. Like Trevor Story last year, he had a down year for him. He was still a 4-WAR player. 24 home runs, 251 batting average, 329 on base, 471 slugging for an 801 OPS. So he's still an above average hitter, but a typical season for him is usually like 850 to 900 OPS. Like he's a guy who can show that he can hit 30 bombs. He plays a good shortstop, but they're going to be moving him to second because his elbow is a bit yikes right now. and also because Xander loves Derek Jeter and he's imitating his legend. And I respect it. I really do. Got to be the second best shortstop on your team eventually if you're mimicking Derek Jeter. But yeah, man. Also, Trevor's right-handed pole hitter. Those are they just perfect at Fenway. Like, dude's gonna be a doubles machine. Dude's gonna hit a lot of fucking homers. I'm so excited for this dude. Like, perfect signing, perfect fit.
I definitely agree. Now, there are some concerns by Red Sox fans out there about what this means for the future of, say, one Christian Arroyo. It seems as though now you got Trevor Story, who can play both second base and shortstop. You can back up Xander when Xander has a day off. Kike is also he was originally signed to play mostly second base with going out to center field every once in a while. So the 40-man roster is actually filled. So someone's going. We were talking about it a little before we started recording that it could be one of the minor leaguers. So my opinion, I think Arroyo is going to be the person who gets cut. But I forgot who it was that mentioned it. Arauz makes sense too. Brandon, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, Jonathan Arauz would be a good candidate to get cut from the 40-man roster. But, I mean, for me, I think Ronaldo Hernandez, the fourth string catcher, if you will, should be kind of the odd man out. We already have all right-handed catchers. We don't need a fourth one just sitting there. With Christian Vasquez, Kevin Plawecki, and Connor Wong, you have a trio of catchers. You can have a bullpen catcher, and then your one and your two. I think that's the logical place to cut from the 40-man. You still keep him in the farm system to come up whenever Vasquez inevitably is leaving. So that's who I would cut for the immediate 40-man.
Brady, your thoughts?
Big fudge. No knock on a guy with a great nickname, but they've added better left-handed relievers to that bullpen. So I could see him, getting exposed. Team claims him. Phillips Valdez would be another guy too on the periphery. They've surpassed those guys in the depth chart. But I don't want to see a catcher gone who had a big offensive season. Can't catch the ball yet, but man, he can hit. He's like a future Philly waiting to happen.
Exactly.
And Hogdale.
Guys, can I just I think Aruz is the guy that should probably go. I mean, I hate to see a 2020 Red Sox legend go. That dream season. He was a star on that team. But I don't know. I just think I think Arroyo's better than him, and he could play the same role. Sadly, Arroyo's kind of made of glass, but I like his upside way better.
Yeah, but who do you replace when Arroyo gets hurt?
He doesn't get hurt because he doesn't play as much.
That's not
there
true.
You go.
That doesn't check out.
That definitely checks out.
Guys, can I just point out something? The Yankees, it's seeing that the Red Sox signed Trevor Story. They made a retaliatory move, really matched us power for power by bringing in Red Sox legend Marwin Gonzalez in. Really to Clash of the Titans, the Yankees and Red Sox, they're like, oh, you're going to punch us with Trevor Story? Well, we're going to hit you with a low left kick here with the Marwin Gonzalez.
I mean, Marwin is a swing hitter, or a switch hitter, rather. This dude, he can go out there and he can hit one, maybe two doubles a season, and it's a killer.
The Red Sox brought him in specifically for his defense, and it didn't really show up.
Didn't check out at all.
That definitely did not check out.
Well, listen, as my buddy Dan pointed out to me, we live in a world now where the Yankees are the team that helps the Minnesota Twins clear money so
That's
they can
insane.
Make a huge, huge signing Carlos Correa. If Josh Donaldson does not go to the Yankees, Carlos Correa is not a Twin. So the New York Yankees are now the team to help, but you better include, a nice looking player like Connor. I can't say his last name, but I like him, the shortstop. But we live in a world where the Yankees absorb money for small market teams to do big boy things. That's the truth.
That's next level cucking. Like they salary dump you and then sign the free agent that like you and your fan base wanted the most. Like that is the definition of getting cucked. And now the Yankees are a fourth place team in the AL East. I love to see it.
So Eric Hubbs just posted up. He's like, just announced the Gardner deal. I'm ready.
He's been on some.
I think
He's like, I didn't want.
We're all
kind
of ready for that.
Oh, that's funny. That's
Gardner,
funny.
Gardner goes somewhere. Watch him go to like the Twins or something. Yeah, we'll talk about the Twins Yankees trade in a little bit. I still want to talk about the story that just broke this morning. I'm so fucking. Oh, Bloom, you fucking beautiful, beautiful man, you. So, working in mysterious ways. Like everybody was sitting here saying, oh, we're not going to get Trevor Story. Bloom won't pull the trigger. Not just you, man. There were lots of people out there that did that. And there's still people out here that are against, aren't happy. They are not happy with the Trevor Story pickup. And
how?
Well, sadly, there's a portion of Red Sox fans, Brady, that just love to be miserable, and like they just are miserable, 365 days a year, and we can't save them. I don't know what we can do.
I'm just I'm really happy. I wanted Brady to get it. I wanted Bloom to do something to make Brady shut up. Really, that's really what it was. It's like Brady was right. Brady was right. He kept saying he was like. Bloom hasn't signed someone more than a 2-year deal, and that was Kike. And what was that contract for?
2 years, $14 million. He surpassed his largest expenditure so far, commitment, by $126 million. Good job, Heim. I was wrong. Thank you. This is exactly the kind of big boy move that I would like to see this organization do. Nick York, maybe someday will be a second baseman. Maybe he'll be I know Ed thinks maybe he'll be a left fielder, but he'll hit. They needed infield. We don't know what Xander's going to do. This guy's going to rake, man. He exudes baseball passion. Like, I think he's going to thrive in Boston. There's nothing negative.
No, right. And to touch on what Hogdale was saying earlier about with Trevor Story raking in Denver, but then his stats are a little bit less at other ballparks at lower elevations. Fenway Park is a unique situation for him in that it's unlike any other ballpark in the entire Major League Baseball because of that monster out in left field. A lot of these pop flies that would get caught in San Diego or in San Francisco or whatever, those are going to be wall ball doubles all day. I think Stats was the one that put out the tweet that said, if all of his balls last year were in Fenway, he would have had 38 home runs.
Oh my God.
I will take 38 home runs from my second baseman every day of the week.
And that was a down season for him. Like in a good season for him, he could hit 40,
45.
45.
Yes. Did you guys also see Stats posted up a thing from 2021, January of 2021? He was like, I see Trevor Story coming to the Red Sox next year.
Profit.
Like, you literally called that.
Solid call.
Yeah. And then I believe he also called Julio's contract. Back in 2018, was it 18?
When Julio Daniels signed with the Boston Red Sox, I immediately put up a tweet that said the Boston Red Sox just won the World Series, and they went on to win the World Series. As soon as I saw the news that Trevor Story signed with the Boston Red Sox, I tweeted the Boston Red Sox just won the World Series. So, spoiler alert, it's happening.
So, Brad. Are you finally coming out and making it clear that obviously Sox Stats must be John Henry? Is that like breaking news, like in real time? Did you
I will not talk. I will not put that evil on Stats.
He doesn't deserve it.
We've already been blocked once. I don't know what we did to get blocked, but we have been unblocked, and I'm trying not to get blocked again. So,
but John Henry, like, here's the thing: High makes the move. John Henry says the A-OK. Like, so, like, this is a good day for John Henry too, right? Let's not, don't.
Tom Warner.
I hate Tom Warner.
I do too.
He's like the Matt Barnes of the ownership group.
Oh man, what the fuck just happened to Hogdale?
Hogdale dropped out.
He laughed so hard he exited.
Okay, well, he'll be back, I guess.
He got cucked.
I did.
There he is.
Sadly got cucked.
Brandon, it sounded like you were about to say something
Yeah, I lost my train of thought in that whole confusion right there.
because Hogdale decided
Yeah.
to fucking cock himself.
Oh, I was gonna say that it's John Henry's name at the top of the check, so he's the one that's writing it out. Heim might be the one that's negotiating and wheeling and dealing, but it's his name on the check at the end of the day.
Stats is not Henry. There's that. That checks out.
Maybe Tom Warner. Got it. Okay.
Sam Kennedy.
That guy, you know, he's got a lot of shit going on. Like he's like the press secretary at the White House, because he deals with all the shit when people are angry and they march his ass out. And, you know, Werner and Henry are nowhere to be found.
Yeah, I want to see more of Henry. You know, I went to the winter weekend.
How much more?
A lot more. I don't know the last time I saw him. When was the last time? Huh?
Like a lot more?
Yeah, a lot more.
Okay.
He's too busy buying like football clubs and shit.
Basketball coming up now.
Yeah, out in Las Vegas and whatnot. He bought the Penguins, which I don't know how that's gonna work out with the Nesson.
Go
whatever.
Pens.
Yeah.
He's expanding his empire, you know. I hope what happens is that by buying the Penguins, they just become a feeder team to the Boston Bruins, and that materializes, but it probably won't.
I thought it would be a feeder program to the Sox, like maybe like Sidney Crosby's playing right field. Like,
hey,
down.
I would take it.
I bet you could hit a ball.
Great hand-eye coordination. He's like, this is so much easier because I'm not wearing ice skates, right? And they're like,
yeah.
Or what if he did try to wear them? They're like, no, Sidney, no.
He goes to slide into second.
Oh God, there's blood everywhere.
Talk
It's
about
like
Manny Machado being bad. Oof.
Yep. Yep.
Be Ty Cobb reincarnated.
It's Machado all over again. Oh.
Let's talk a little bit about the contract and whatnot. So it was actually Boob was the one that dropped the news, which I'm
surprising
that he was the first one I saw. I believe he was the first one to drop it, period, because he was getting the credit. So Boob dropped the news that the Red Sox and Trevor Story were in an agreement and just waiting. Like myself, I'm like, Boob, what's the contract for? Like, what are the years? What is the money? Comes out that the money that it's 6 years, 140 million, with a player opt out after 4 years, after the fourth year. And Boston can negate that by picking up the 7th year option. And if that happens, it will end up being a 7-year, $160 million contract.
So after the 4th year, the Boston Red Sox will evaluate this and be like, do we really want 3 more years of Trevor Story? If so, he doesn't have the option to leave. I like it.
I mean, he's holding me captive. Like, so like if Trevor Story is like, I want to leave, he's like,
no, I don't think you do.
Do I want to let you leave is the real question. He's like, stop, I'm ready to go. Like, I'm not comfortable. Like, things happened that were bad in Boston. He's like Heyman said it was a very complicated deal. It's not that fucking complicated. Like,
is Heyman becoming the new Boob?
I mean, he kind of
possibly.
Yeah, that's a yes.
He's always hitting the sauce, you know.
Whenever it comes to the Red Sox, he's very. He's a Yankee homer.
He sure is.
He just kind of stinks. Not gonna lie.
Well, Boob stinks too. So
he's had a good offseason.
Boob redeemed himself, dude. He got the story scoops.
Yeah, he did get the story.
This is the best part about Trevor Story coming to Boston. That was all the shitty
the puns
we can do with it. Also, like 23.
It's story time.
Woo! Let's go.
Wow.
Brandon's literally SMHing. He's just done.
Oh man.
Here. What's funny is I just saw a post from a fellow Boston Red Sox podcaster. We'll leave it at that. And it just says story time, signs with Red Sox. And that came across my screen literally as you said that.
The story
my
time.
God.
Wax on, wax off.
me and Brady share a brain cell.
Just one. Just one. Right?
Yeah.
That's
Oh
it.
my god! I
Checks out.
Oh
Mhm.
man.
Well,
Wax.
I want to ask you a question though, real quick. I was thinking about this.
Who we asking? Everyone.
So this is like goes to everyone. All right. So Brad, we'll go to you last. We'll go Brandon. Would you rather have Arroyo and Renfro, or Story and a platoon of let's say Pilar and JBJ? Like if you had to pick, which one do you like more?
I like the option with Story better.
Okay.
I think Story gives you
sorry.
a bigger bat in the from your infielders. Plus, it gives you better defense up the middle. And what I really like about that defense up the middle is in 2023, when they completely do away with the shift, you're going to have essentially two shortstops who are used to covering more range. That makes more sense to me.
That's a great
Hogdale?
point. Fantastic point. Yeah, I'd rather have Story. I mean, I loved Renfro last year, but one, he choked in the playoffs, so that kind of soured me a bit. And two, like his season last year is his peak. Like if he replicates that season, it'd be just insanely unlikely. It's just unlikely. I think that's probably the best you're going to get at Hunter Renfro, and like he probably peaked.
Which one would you rather have? The Arroyo Renfro or the Story JBJ? Maybe, yeah.
So we have a comment.
Oh, do we?
Good answer, Brad. Good answer.
We have a comment.
Good point,
With that-
Nick Cowan. Nick Cowan with the based take.
And honestly, why can't Arroyo be lumped in that platoon in the outfield as well? I think that's really what we're talking about. Is I like Story and Arroyo, that combination.
So Nick, my problem with Arroyo is he can't stay healthy. You already mentioned it. When healthy, when is he healthy? I believe he played 52 games last year. Which
You saw what happened when they moved him to first base. You put him to a different position, he's gonna die. Like we already saw that when he played first base. You put him in right field. You're begging for him to get hurt.
You put him in left. And you let Kike patrol center field, and right field, I guess JBJ.
I really hope they sign another outfielder. You
So-
cannot have JBJ as an
So,
everyday
gentlemen,
guy.
Christian Arroyo he's been in MLB for 5 years. He came up in 2017 with the Giants. He played 34 games with the Giants, 20 games with the Rays in 18, 16 games with the Rays in 19, split between Cleveland and Boston in 2020. He played 15 games, and he played 57 games for a total of one full season.
Well, Hogdale, we're forgetting about Verdugo too. So JBJ doesn't
yeah,
have
you're
to be
right.
an everyday outfielder. Verdugo can play right field, Kike in center, and then Arroyo in left. That's a solid outfield.
Do they trust him Arroyo in left already right now? though?
I think they'd end up putting Bobby out there.
I like that.
I mean, I think they would when Cassis comes up for sure.
Yeah.
The only thing is, I liked your point, Brandon, about Story's kind of like having two shortstops up the middle. I think Pilar, JBJ, they kind of make it like two center fielders, out in the outfield when you got Kike and Pilar, or Kike, and JBJ, that you already have that. So I really like that defense. I'm big on Arroyo because guys get banged up. That's going to happen. So I think Arroyo really fits this team real well. I don't know yet if I'd want to put him in a new position with what do we have till opening day? Like 2.5 weeks, if that. Like we're pretty close to it now.
It's a short spring training for sure.
Well, Thursday it was 3 weeks.
Okay, so we're 2.5 weeks until till we're ready to go.
Okay. So Nick wasn't talking about Arroyo. He thinks that Arroyo should go, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he was clearly talking about Story's numbers with 30 dingers. Arroyo didn't hit 30 dingers.
Yeah, he said no, those are Story's numbers potentially if he stays healthy. Speed, glove, and mashes. Arroyo is always injured and just has spurts of production. Renfroe strikes out too much, and no scenario is the Arroyo and Renfroe pattern. We just signed a superstar.
It's
Nick
true.
owning base take.
And Nick owning Brady. Yeah, so
Maybe Brady
I'm
was
with Nick.
putting it out there because he wanted to put out how obvious it was that you want fucking Story, and Brady's five heading it. Come on, guys. Let's give
I
our
know a
man
lot of people were. I know a lot of people were just a little confused on why we traded Renfroe for JBJ, but it really wasn't a trade for JBJ. It was basically to buy the prospects that we got back in that trade. So
it to me just says that Heim likes Pinellas a lot, like pretty much.
I like Pinellas. I mean, if anything, like what was it, like 15 minutes after he was traded, or it was announced that he was traded, he was already on Section 10.
Yeah, that was sick.
Yeah. All right, so let's start talking about some other Red Sox news that has.
There's other news
that has happened
What
since
other
the
news?
last time we recorded. There were some news stating that Xander Bogaerts was unvaccinated, and this was going to put a damper on the Red Sox when they go to Toronto, which Toronto is literally cucking everybody. And
Oh yeah.
Xander came out and said that he's vaccinated, so that's good to know. That our shortstop / captain of the team is vaccinated. He'll be able to play up in Toronto when we get up there.
Here's my thing. Here's my thing with all of this. Like, is he vaccinated? Is he not vaccinated? How is Rob Manfred and Major League Baseball going to allow there to be a team that can operate with this clear home field advantage of being like, oh, well, you can't even come here if you're not vaccinated? They should be forced to play in Buffalo until they get that settled.
Yeah, but you can't punish the Blue Jays for the Canadian government being cunts.
But you can prevent them from being able to play in Canada.
Proof that Hogdale's really a Blue Jay fan.
Yep, sounds like it to me.
Which, by the way, gotta love Chris Sale. Breaking his ribs, probably still unvaccinated. Yay.
His ribs would be fine if he was fucking vaccinated. You know it. I know it.
Yeah, it really strengthens the core,
Yep. Because he did get the vid and he was coughing. Then he loosened that shit up. If he just got vaxxed, then who would have known?
Of
I don't know.
course.
Is Trevor Story vaccinated, Brad?
Not sure. We'll get into
I
that.
believe so.
We'll try and figure that out.
Where is he from? Iowa?
I wish we could
think it was
produce a player
Texas.
that good.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
he's
right.
He is from Texas.
So
Yeah,
he's not vaccinated.
No.
Listen,
He's definitely not vaccinated.
Brady laughs at me, but when Iowa legend Michael Wacha just fucking shits down everyone's throat this year, like, you're gonna
Listen,
eat your words, dude. It's gonna be great.
I have to eat right now. Everything I said, I can't. I'm probably wrong. So like, Waka's gonna come out and be like the new Nathan Evaldi. That's gonna happen.
Right.
You know what we should have done for the episode? We should have just had Brady, like, he isn't able to talk at all. All he has to do is just shake his head or up or down, up or across.
I like to apologize. Own it though.
That's great content for the podcast listeners.
Yeah, great content.
Definitely is. Yeah, exactly.
So many people watch the visual feed,
So, as we all know, Freddie Freeman ended up signing with the Dodgers, which is fucking ridiculous. And that entire that offense is just going to be insane. Somehow, the Red Sox were in on Freeman. Does anybody here believe that the Red Sox were in on Freeman?
I think we were in on him. I don't think that Heim was in on him for whatever it was that he signed for, the 6-year, $200 billion or whatever it was. There's no way that they were going to pay that to a 34-year-old first baseman whenever you have so many promising young
32?
kids that can play. 32? Is he 32? I thought he was 34. Whatever. Still pretty old to be getting a seven-year contract. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think we were in on him if it was a short term, like maybe a 3-year deal. But with guys like Cassis and Dahlbeck and all these other kids that we have coming up in the system, there was no need for him long term like that.
Hogdale?
Yeah, I pretty much echo those sentiments. We have so many like good infielder prospects who will be able to play first base in the future, and like, yeah, if we would have signed him for like a 3-year deal, like sure, like yeah, I bet we were in on it, but never like a fucking 5 or 6 year deal. Never. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
Heyman was just trying to, shill for an agent and drive his price up, mostly.
Brady.
I think Heim was really just trying to, bring that price up, but also kind of being like, I mean, maybe if for the right price, like if there's some crazy 2-year kind of commitment, never know. But I think Heim was just trying to stick it to the Yankees if they were going to go there. What a bad day to be a Yankee.
I
Yeah.
I mean, any day is a good day to be a miserable Yankee fan. But I don't think the Red Sox were really in on it. They were just like checking in, hey, whatever. And then his agent was like, hey, the Red Sox are in on it to try and get the Yankees involved so that the Yankees could drive up the price and the Red Sox could drive up the price. So it ended up, I believe, what was it, 160?
I believe so.
I believe it was
Something like that.
160.
The Dodgers.
It was basically it was 6 years, $162 million, and I believe there was some deferred money in there and an opt out, which I believe he gets screwed if he opts out. Which I mean, like, you don't opt out if you're going to screw yourself. He gets like $7 million every year for deferred. So crazy. Contracts are just nuts nowadays.
You look at the Dodgers though; they have questions at the back of their rotation, like pretty significant questions. Like it's not a settled team.
We'll talk more about some of the back that like their reliever situation.
Yeah,
you say that, but they're going to call up prospects out of nowhere. They're going to be fucking gods.
So, JD mentioned that he wanted to finish his career in Boston. So, Eovaldi also mentioned that he would also like to be extended and stay in Boston. What are our thoughts on those two?
I mean, Nasty Nate looks like he's kind of becoming the most reliable arm. I'm not going to put the ace moniker on him, but he has been the workhorse and most reliable. Him and Nick Pivetta, really. And Brady popped for that. But for him to stay in Boston, I'm okay with it. I don't think I would go out and give him a long-term deal, maybe 2-year deals at a time, 1-year deals at a time to keep him there.
Brady's favorite?
Yeah.
The Heim special.
Yeah, that's the number 2. Yeah. I'll load in number 2. Yep.
And as far as JD is concerned, I think there's more value in trading him, honestly, because we have so much talent coming up that can play positions and also fill in for DH. We got to think that the next big move that we have to have is an extension for Rafael Devers, who will be the future DH of this team.
Brady.
Well, I like JD on 1-year deals. If he really loves Boston, wants to stay here, if he was willing to go 1 year at a time, if he has a great year this year, awesome. Nate, it's tough because, you look at the Chris Sale deal and you're like, man, kind of wish we didn't do that now. But like, Eovaldi has shown up in big spots and he looks like he's learning how to kind of stay healthier. Like he knows himself a little bit. He's been much healthier as he's getting older. A 3-4 year deal, not more than 4. And I don't think Heim just already made me eat my words, so I can't predict anything. But I'd be cool. I'd be cool with giving Nate something in 1 year at a time with JD.
Yeah, Hogdale.
Oh yeah, I mean, I really would be happy to keep Nate for like a 2-year deal would be nice. Like he's 32. Like you just can't give him long term. But He's made so many Sox fans like eat our words these last few years, like saying that's a bad contract. And he's just proved every single person wrong. He's been a workhorse in the regular season. He's been a monster in the playoffs. So much love for Nate. He's just been great.
I think we trade JD. Like Brandon said, there's more value in trading JD
now.
Yeah.
So who's your DH this year?
You don't need a designated hitter. You can switch up. You got Bobby Dahlbeck. You've got potentially you have Christian Arroyo too. You got Devers. So I mean, and then Casas possibly coming up at the end of the season. I think right now the value on JD is higher than any other time. There's other teams that are going to be looking for a DH.
See, I'd be cool like if Casas is raking in like June, right, and he's ready for promotion, moving JD to make a spot for Casas. Move a team that's in the thick of it wants a big bat. I'd be cool with that.
I think
agree with you,
the
Nick.
All-Star game trade deadline time frame, that's whenever JD has the most value, because you could go and you could load up on prospects, outfield prospects or whatnot, bring up Casas at that time if he's mashing in AAA, and just plug him in as your DH, let him get some at-bats at the major league level. That makes sense to me.
But there are teams right now that are looking for DHs. So granted,
they'll still be looking at the All-Star break. There's no one left.
If you add Trevor Story, but you subtract JD Martinez, you're kind of standing in place unless you're,
fair enough.
I mean, if you said they got Solera, then okay, but options are kind of dwindling for those difference bats makers. And Heim blew and went out and got the one that they really needed, and that was really good.
So
unless he brings in Conforto or something like that in the next couple days,
let's hope.
Which I would be down for. I would be down.
So this was in my notes before today that ownership is hungry to win another championship, and they're not worried about going up over the tax threshold here. So
I still haven't.
Nope, they haven't. But there was also news that Henry was the voice of reason in the lockout, which I'm not sure if I believe that.
I do. He's been one of the few owners that consistently chucks big money at free agents.
I'm not sure he was able to be a part of the meeting if he was over in Liverpool, unless it was through Skype.
Yeah, nobody does those anymore.
He doesn't have to be in England during the season, though. They could just call them.
he was over in Liverpool, busy over there. But that's my opinion.
England and all that.
Yeah.
They don't have internet.
They don't.
London Bridge.
It'd be cool if he had
right?
if he had his own plane, then he could just come and go.
Yeah,
if only.
I'm sure that's what he was doing.
No, out of his price. Are you kidding me? You think he's that rich? He has a plane? Get out of here.
Right.
What kind of carbon footprint does John Henry leave on this earth? Can we talk about that for a moment?
No, let's move on.
Okay.
Sam Kennedy said that ownership is trying to bring the All-Star game back to Boston. He was asked when. His answer was ASAP. According to Chris Cotillo, who has been on the podcast, the soonest this could happen is in 2025, and the soonest after that would be 2027. So I'm thinking we take a road trip, boys.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Whenever the All-Star game comes to Fenway, I'll need to get down there.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, that sounds perfect. This ownership group, they have invested a lot of money into ballpark renovations, adding things not only to the park, but the surrounding area as well. That's going to be a hub for an All-Star game for sure. Do it. Make the move ASAP.
Have you guys been since they've added on the MGM? Well, they haven't. I don't know if it's actually fully been renovated, but behind center field, they added like an MGM concert, whatever it is, venue. Has anybody been there? Hogdale, I know you haven't.
Yeah, I've never been to Fenway, so
I haven't seen what you're talking about. No, I haven't been there.
I know what you're talking about, but I haven't seen it in person yet.
When I was there last year, they were working on it. It was just skeleton stuff. So I'm pretty excited for that.
Wouldn't it be great? Boston gets the All-Star game and the home run derby, and they call it Blaze Jordan just for his eligibility in the home run derby. And he just murders baseballs and just puts Vladdy's ass to shame. And he's like, that's how you hit a fucking homer. And just I'm going back to Double-A. You know what I mean?
Alex, and then everyone cheered.
Alex Spear posted, he goes, Rich Hill was informed. Rich Hill, a.k.a. Dick Mountain.
Dick Mountain? Yeah.
Dick Mountain.
Get the shirt today.
Yeah, get the shirt today.
Yeah, get the shirt.
You can find the link on our Twitter profile, beacons.ai/thepesky report. So Rich Hill was informed of the Trevor Story agreement. Initial reaction? Oh, wow. He said the presence of Story changes the architecture of the Red Sox lineup, giving the Sox a hitter with great bat to ball, strike zone coverage, power, and defense.
Dick Mountain with the insight per usual. Love the guy.
He's underpaid.
Right.
You want to get a GoFundMe together to pay him more?
I love that signing so much. Like, I don't even give a fuck what he does this year on the field.
If he, honestly, I'm
great.
not even going to lie. And I'm.
Here we go.
Rich Hill. Rich Mountain. Dick Mountain.
Dick Hill.
Rich Mountain Dick Hill. Okay.
Yes.
So Dick Hill, if he didn't pitch a single inning this season, I'm okay with it, just for the fact that he's on the Red Sox and I can go buy his jersey.
Although, like, in
Speaking
fairness,
of,
when he drops a
We'll talk about
62 mile an hour
Sale in a minute.
curveball, when he drops a 62 mile an hour curveball and it makes the hitters look awful, that's fun too, though.
yeah, and they swing 3 times before it even crosses the plate. Yeah. Speaking of jerseys, Brad, I did make a promise that if Chaim Bloom signed either Trevor Story, Seiya Suzuki, or Freddie Freeman, that I would buy that jersey to add to my display. So I need to figure out what color Trevor Story jersey is going to go up on here and who's going to get replaced. The red one, so it would be the middle one.
Yeah, I say red. What do you
Red
mean?
one would be sick.
Green St. Patty's Day.
That's a spring training jersey, so.
And he didn't wear it this year though. He came after.
Yeah. So
that's cheating.
You know, and
check out.
This Trevor Story signing was I don't know how many people know this, but my birthday was yesterday. And
Oh shit!
I wished for a Trevor Story signing, navy blue. Okay, so it would match the bogey jersey.
Let's go with the listener. He's saying navy blue. We'll go navy blue.
That would make the display kind of sick.
Yeah, it would balance it all out, wouldn't it?
You'd have to put him next to Bogaerts, just like he will be out in the field.
We'll see. I'll have to make sure it's even. But for my birthday, I wished for a Trevor Story signing, and I didn't get it on my birthday, but I did get it the very next day. So I'll take it. I'll take it as my wish came true. You're welcome, Red Sox Nation.
Do you know
That's
what
awesome,
Trevor Story's jersey says on Players Weekend?
What is it?
True.
I like
True.
it.
Just true. By the way, I just
story.
thought about this. Like
True
with,
story.
True story.
Shut the fuck. With the navy blue Story jersey, like it could go on either side of the red one because you can picture the red jersey as the pitcher on that day, and like
There you go.
It's, shortstop and second base. Look at that.
Then I would have the grays on the side, and then the blues, and then the red. Yeah.
You'll have to move
Pretty
Bogey
sick.
over. Where is that a Koji or is that a JBJ?
That's actually a Koji from the 2013 World Series.
Hell yeah. Elite jersey.
Did I tell you the story about this story? I tell you the story about my Koji Uehara signed baseball that I got at Winter Weekend.
Yeah.
Did I tell you that, Brandon?
No.
So my girlfriend at the time, we both went to the Winter Weekend, and they have the players in different rooms, and you don't know who you're going to get, right? My girlfriend ended up going into this other room, and I was in a room. I believe I had Salta Lamacchia and Jason Veritek, and she goes, I go, hey, so who do you have? And she's like, oh, number 19. I was like, oh, the first thing that came to mind was to be JBJ because he was currently signed with the Red Sox at the time. And she was like, no, he's Asian. I was like, who wore 19? I was like, oh my God, you got Koji? I was like, want to trade? So unfortunately I couldn't trade, but she didn't realize the presence that was in front of her when he signed that baseball. So I was, I got the baseball right here. It's right next to my computer, like on my desk all the times. But yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
Moving on, Cora has stated that Evaldi will be the opening day starter. He deserves it, regardless if Chris Sale's injury happened or not. I believe that he definitely deserved it. Later couldn't just say something, huh?
He threw up a wave.
Yeah, I know. I gotta go get my kid. Just texted.
Good dad Brady strikes again.
Yep. So
Hey, it happens sometimes.
definitely warranted. Now let's talk about the elephant, I guess we can say, in the room. Chris Sale will miss the start of the year, stress fracture to the ribs. This will be weeks, not days, until he can actually throw a ball. And his injury happened during the lockout. So with Sale not being able to stay healthy, the opt-out at the end of 2022 seems unlikely. And hearing from him before, it doesn't sound like he was going to opt out anyways, as he'd like to probably finish his career in Boston. But the biggest problem that I have is one of our commenters, Nick, had mentioned, here it is. How close are we to admitting signing Sale was a mistake? There's a hot take because I'm almost there. So I'll talk to you guys about it. I don't think that signing or trading for Sale was a mistake. The extension might have been a tad bit premature. And we'll talk about that in a moment. I just want to get your guys' take on that. What do you think, Hogdale? Do you think that the extension was a little premature, or?
I mean, with hindsight, it just doesn't look great because was a 2019 he had like a 4.5 ERA. Then Tommy John misses the whole season, and another half season. He comes back, has a pretty good second half. Was like a 3.13 ERA. Pitched pretty decently in the playoffs, but you could tell that he's getting hit quite a bit. His stuff isn't as good. And starting this year, he breaks his ribs. Don't know how he did that. Just kind of odd. It's not great.
Eat a burger. Brandon.
You ate a burger.
Yeah, I don't think trading for Sale was bad because I don't think inevitably 2018 happens if you don't have Chris Sale in the rotation that year. But the extension was definitely rushed. They could have waited on that a little bit longer, and then maybe it doesn't happen at all. But hindsight again is 2020. If you get the Chris Sale that you had in 2018, then of course you're going to extend him to hope that you can have that for 5, 7, 100 years, whatever. Him breaking his rib or cracking his rib or whatever they've actually medically diagnosed it as. I did watch a pretty in-depth video from a doctor that was talking about this particular injury, and he's a left-handed pitcher. So when he throws, his body rotates in a way that it puts a lot of pressure on the ribs on the opposite side. And then whenever he has to snap his body back after his release and all that, it creates a weird pressure on the ribs on his other side. So by him going out there and pitching and throwing without being around the Red Sox trainers who could be like, hey, let's not ramp up so quickly. Let's slow down a little bit, because we all know Chris Sale's that guy that he's going to get out there on the mound. He's going to look at the catcher puts down a finger, and he's going to throw the ball. He doesn't think about anything else. He just thinks, me throw ball hard. That's all. He's very caveman in his approach to pitching. And without having the Red Sox coaches and training staff there to ramp him up in a way that's not going to injure him, that's what inevitably led to that. So just like with Tatis and the Padres not being able to report his injury to that team, Chris Sale not having his team around him to report this sooner or to have them guide him, this is all just blood on Rob Manfred's hands.
I agree with both of you. The Chris Sale trade, it was good, but my problem with it, and this was my problem with it before the rib injury during the lockout is he isn't able to stay healthy. Like in 2018, he still had issues. He wasn't able to pitch in the postseason simply because he had an injury. He kept saying that he got an infection in his belly button because he ended up getting a belly button piercing or something like that. Obviously, that was a joke.
Yeah.
But looking at his contract, this actually kind of concerns me. And this is one of those things where, like, oh, hey, Dave Dombrowski was the guy. He would go out and he would sign somebody, blah, 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 blah. But looking at Sale's contract, it's going to come back to bite us in the ass in 2035. So Chris Sale, we've talked about this before. Chris Sale is signed. He has an opt-out after this year, but he's not going to opt out. He is a free agent until he is not a free agent until 2025.
Yeah.
He will not be playing for the Red Sox in 2025, possibly 2025 on, right? Well, the Red Sox, I don't know how nobody noticed this before. In 2035, the Red Sox start paying him $10 million a year until 2039. So that's $50 million that they still owe Chris Sale after he became a free agent and say he signed somewhere else. I hate that.
It's not great. I mean, it's just deferred money. It's what people do. It kept the AAV down a bit.
That's the new norm for baseball contracts. Look at Freddie Freeman's contract with the Dodgers. He's going to be getting paid millions of dollars for what, like 10 years after he's even done playing baseball?
Yep.
So we had a comment come in for you. I think it was towards you, Brandon. Did you really just blame Sale's injury on the owners? Yeah, kind of did, because the owners were the one that locked the players out. If there was not a lockout, the likelihood of that happening, a lot slimmer.
And I actually blamed it on Rob Manfred, not the owners.
Fuck Rob Manfred, dude. Honestly. Don't really like the guy. Kind of stinks. Hot take.
Kind of a terrible commissioner.
Yeah.
Who's the worst? Who's the worst commissioner there, Hogdale?
Oh, fucking probably Manfred, but fucking it's him and Gary Bettman are in like a heavyweight boxing match to find out who's the worst commissioner in sports. Like they're both fucking terrible. Just yikes.
So, gentlemen, we know that Trevor Story's coming to the Red Sox. Fucking good job, Bloom.
Woo.
Now, how long do you think it's going to take before he extends either Xander or Devers?
Hopefully,
it needs to be Devers.
Yeah,
it needs to be Devers, and that conversation needs to start now. Now that you've signed the big free agent piece that you were after, the conversation for extending Devers begins today. They need to make sure that they lock him up long term so that he's not in that position to leave whenever he becomes a free agent. In 2 years? I think it is.
Something like that.
I think it's next.
Is it next year?
Like really, like Devers is a guy. He's so young right now. It's no hesitation. You give him 10 years. It's really not hard. Like sign him now. Make him a Red Sox for life. Like he's our guy. We need to lock him up.
They pay me well. I hit home runs.
Yeah,
that's all you need to know.
He's ARB3 eligible next year, and he's a free agent 2024.
Okay, so
lock him up. No need to wait.
Definitely need to lock him up.
So it needs to be done. They need to be in talks. If they don't get a deal done before the season starts, they at least need to have that negotiation ongoing before the end of spring training.
Right. Next up, we got a few more things to talk about. Garrett Whitlock changed his number to 22. The last pitcher to wear number 22 was Rick Porcello, who ended up winning a Cy Young with the Boston Red Sox. Liking this. Don't really care for numbers and don't have a superstition about the number situation, but players do. And cool, I guess, that he got the nod from Porcello.
Yeah, he actually reached out to Pretty Ricky and asked if he was okay to wear that number, which is funny because Rick Porcello didn't have that number retired. He wasn't, a Red Sox player long enough to even have a number retired. But it's cool that he reached out to him and was like, "Hey, is it cool if I rock your number?" The thing that bothers me about that is I wore number 22 in high school and he didn't contact me to ask me if he could wear it. So
Did you wear it for the Boston Red Sox?
That's pretty fucked up, dude.
It is, right? I wore Red Sox every now and then.
Come on, Garrett. Jesus. Have some courtesy.
So I don't know if you guys listen to the radio broadcast. I listen to the broadcast on a regular basis, especially during the days when I'm working. Castig, 40 years calling the Boston Red Sox. 40 years. And he came from, I believe he said Cleveland. He was calling Indian
That's
games.
correct. Yeah.
That's fucking awesome. Castig's been calling Red Sox games for like almost 2 of my lifetimes, which is crazy.
He's been calling it longer than I've been alive.
Yeah.
Same.
So, Red Sox organization, actually not Red Sox, but Alex Cora stated that he's expecting that Bobby Dahlbeck will be playing outfield and second base, which I'm assuming that second base is Knicks now.
Occupado.
Along with first base and third base. What are our thoughts on the outfield situation?
I love it because it's anything to keep Bobby around. You have him under team control for the next millennia. Then it makes it so you don't have to trade him. Like, 'cause it seems like the Sox really like him, like as a player and as a person. And like, if his bat keeps getting better, like he had over his first 162 games, he had an 800 OPS. If he only gets better, if you can move him out to left field, not have to move him, huge asset. Would love it.
I think by having him play these other positions, it just ups his trade value. Whereas the Red Sox need a steady first baseman. So if you want to keep him long-term, you keep giving him reps at that position because that's where he's going to serve the team most anyway. If you're trying to showcase him as being a versatile utility player, then in my opinion, they're just trying to market him as trade bait.
Let's hope that's not the case. Bradford,
I agree. I like Bobby. So
yeah. So I don't know if you guys saw, but WEI put roses where Jerry Remy would sit.
Oh,
yeah.
I was hit pretty hard, when knowing that Jerry passed away in October, that sucks. But it's like it doesn't really feel like it until you actually watch a game. In watching a game and not hearing his voice is just something I'm not going to be able to get used to for a little bit. I will say that, with the addition of, Maz, Uke, Millar, and Middlebrooks, it's going to be a bit different. And don't get me wrong, I'm not a fan of the Maz situation. None of us really are. But I feel like I feel like I gotta at least give him the opportunity to see what he's going to do. Like if in his contract it was like, hey, no being like a dickhead,
Don't be you.
Yeah, really. But not hearing Jerry was just, it was kind of heartbreaking because it literally it's real. It's real. The Red Sox were in the postseason the last time we saw him, so we had nationalized television and people calling the game. It wasn't our own people. So how did you guys feel when that game played, that first spring training game?
Well, normally I don't really expect to hear the 1A broadcast team during spring training. That's usually when they have other guys in there filling the shoes anyway. But knowing that Remy's not going to be there at all this season, it did hurt. It did suck, but to kind of segue off of that, I think Euclid has done a fantastic job for these spring training games that he's been a part of.
Definitely cannot wait to see a Uke and Eck game.
That'll be a lot of fun.
That's probably going to be one of the best What were your feelings, Hogdale?
It's just sad. It's a bummer. Like Jerry's going to be missed, and adding Tony Maz into the booth is just salt in the wound. Thanks a lot, Nesson. You fucking assholes.
Like I said, I think we should probably give him one fucking broadcast.
No, because that's the thing is like I saw people say like defend him is like, oh well, when he's not doing his shtick, he's tolerable. It's like, okay, so he's a hack. Like he's just fucking making it up. Okay, sure. Yeah, I bet.
Yeah. All right. Moving on. So listening to WEI over the week, it was said that Castig had mentioned that the green uniform. Somebody else actually mentioned it in the chat. According to Joe Castiglione, Roger Clemens brought the idea of the green uniforms. What's the shaking?
The green uniforms are reserved for one day a year, and that's St. Patty's Day. That's it. You don't need them any other time.
Kind of, agree. Kind of agree.
Hey, I'm just going by what I was listening to on the radio. Don't shoot the messenger.
We're killing the messenger on this one, Brad, because it's a terrible idea. It's a terrible take by Roger Clemens to even suggest that.
No, he was the one that brought the green uniforms for St. Patty's Day back in the 90s. That's not on a regular basis.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood then. So yeah,
I'm sitting here. I'm like, what the fuck?
Whoa!
For St. Patty's Day, they're cool, but for any other day, no dice.
No, they only wear them for spring training for St. Patty's Day. So
I'm cool with that.
Okay, St. Patty's Day.
Just to clear the air.
Speaking of St. Patty's Day, James Paxton is hopeful to be back by June. He threw for the first time since surgery on St. Patty's Day. It was on flat grounds. What are our expectations with Paxton? Big Maple. Another Canadian.
I think he'll be pretty good whenever he gets back. He'll be a really solid addition to the rotation. I like Paxton a lot. The injuries are a bit concerning, but I think he's going to be a really solid addition. I think it could be a steal of a contract.
I agree. And with him coming in later in the season, that basically makes it to where if the Red Sox are in contention come trade deadline time, they don't necessarily have to go out and get a starting pitcher because you have one that's going to be returning.
The Sox rotation and bullpen just looks really solid. I really like how it's shaping up. Like you'd like another high-end pitcher if Chris Sale can't become himself. But it's a bunch of 2 and 3s, but that's not terrible. And the bullpen's just solid, rock solid.
So his contract is $6 million this year, and if the team picks up his club option, he'll make $13 next year. I believe it was a 3-year deal with opt-outs.
Something like
not
that,
100% what that was. So there's that. So I know JBJ, there's a lot of concerns with JBJ being back on the team. He not a great hitter. We all know that. He's well below the Mendoza line. He had a fantastic 60-game season in 2020. I believe he hit 282. JBJ mentioned that he is wearing contacts for the first time to correct astigmatism.
You laugh, Hogdale, but that could be huge.
No, it really could. I'm laughing because, like, oh my God, it's just, of course, it's the sports narrative of where it's like he got his eyes fixed. Now he's gonna go out there and rake.
This book right here, The Science of Hitting by some guy named Ted Williams, knows a thing or two about hitting. He talks in here about a story when he was a manager for the Nationals about how he would take all of his players and have them get their eyes checked. And before and after corrective lenses for all of the players that needed them, everyone saw batting averages jump.
Yeah.
Ted Williams knew a thing or two about hitting. And if your eyes are not as good as they should be, you're not going to see the ball as well.
Imagine JBJ just starts raking.
Yeah, right.
And everybody's like, what a steal.
Dude, this
Imagine he hits 300 this year or something.
Yes, this reminds me of like in another sport, Jameis Winston. Like he had like his 30 touchdown, 30 interception season, and there was like in the news like, oh, he's going to get LASIK surgery to correct his vision, and everyone just made the joke of like, oh, dude, He's going to be a stud now. Interceptions cut in half. Confirmed. Let's go.
To that point, he was having a fantastic
He was
season with the
better.
New Orleans Saints
He was.
until he tore his ACL, which has nothing to do with his eyes.
Yeah. Should have seen the ground better. Jameis.
Well, maybe.
All right, enough of that bullshit.
Yeah.
Who listens to a Red Sox podcast to talk about football?
Yeah, see, Brandon's he's owning. Yeah, get owned, Brad.
I don't know I don't know anything about football, so maybe
Go
I'll
Sox.
start. Maybe I'll start a podcast so I can start learning about football and start shit talking people.
Travis has a pretty bold prediction for JBJ. 280 with 25 bombs.
Oh my god, can you imagine? Can you
imagine? That would be fantastic. And he could be an everyday outfielder, and you wouldn't have to worry about Arroyo.
Thing is, if JBJ was hitting like 230 like he did with the Sox, he's not unplayable. But last year, I'm pretty sure he was the worst position player in baseball.
He was.
Hitting.
Yeah, he was terrible last year.
And like, yeah, Milwaukee, that's a bandbox. Like that's a hitter friendly park. Like,
Yeah,
yikes.
he signed a 2-year, $24 million contract. He's getting, is it 9.5 this year? He has a player option in 2022, which obviously he exercised, and then there's a mutual option for 2023, which also comes with an $8 million buyout. So he's absolutely getting $8 million this year.
Oh, hey,
next year.
Sorry to interrupt you, Brad. Buster Olney put out a thing about Story. In the recent days, Bogaerts, Cora, and other members of the Red Sox worked hard to recruit Trevor Story with phone calls. So yeah, the captain being the captain. Look at that.
Wow, that is the captain is being the captain.
It's fucking sick.
You think they'll actually put a C on his chest, or are they waiting to see if he's going to be a long-term player? Because
if they get him extended, I would put the C on him. If he doesn't get extended, nobody's getting the C.
It's a bummer.
You don't put the C on him this year if he opts out at the end of the season and then goes signs with the Yankees.
I mean, he should have had a C for a few years now, though, so it's kind of a bummer.
You got to lock him down forever. You know, but,
yeah.
Travis Shaw's back with the organization. He got a minor league deal. He'll be making $1.5 million if he makes the roster. Another name that came up and was signed, Hansel Robles. He ended up signing. This is, I believe, it's a minor league deal, which kind of
it is.
I don't understand that, and I don't like it.
It's kind of weird that he just didn't have a market, right? Like he gave the Sox some really like high leverage quality innings down the stretch of the season and in the playoffs. Like he really established himself in the bullpen. Like that there's no market is just kind of odd.
I got nothing either. Like there's no rhyme or reason for him not to have a bigger market, but I'm glad that he's back in the fold.
Oh yeah, 100%.
He wanted to be a Red Sox. That was a thing. All right, Brandon, you had some notes that you took as well. I don't know if you have the notes up.
Yes, I do. I'm watching you go through them in real time. It's pretty interesting. So of course we've all been watching the spring training games and we've all been following along and tweeting it as if it's a regular season game pretty much. We're trying to get in mid-season form too with our live tweeting and all this stuff, our video captures and all this. And one of those guys, as Brad was just yelling out, Fitzgerald has tremendous moss, and he's also been a machine this spring. What do you guys think about Fitzgerald and where he could potentially fit long-term with the organization?
Well, truthfully, he's the next Ted Williams. You're just denying. You're just coping if you don't think otherwise. Got to
red seat. Here he comes.
Yeah, like fucking the red seat is fucking done. There's really nothing else to say. The dude's a maniac. Next Ted Williams. Get your head out of your ass if you think otherwise.
I like Fitzy. I want to see more out of him. I hadn't seen anything until this season, so there is that, or the spring training. So it's nice. Who's the one with the mullet?
That's Fitzy.
That is Fitzy?
Yeah,
Not a fan of the mullet.
Oh, the moss though, bro. Don't cross the moss.
The moss, the hair flow is fine, but the boxed mullet. Oh, come on, bro. We're in 2022, not freaking.
That's
whatever.
the style now, Brad.
Is
That's
it
what all the
really?
kids are wearing. The mullet is back.
No, we got Joe Dirt on our
It's
team.
back.
The mullet is back,
That's
bro.
his nickname from now on, Joe Dirt. I'm not calling him Fitzy anymore, Joe Dirt.
Fitzy is perfect because in the very first spring training game, they had a microphone basically sitting right beside a fan in the stands. It's like, come on, Fitzy! Come on, Fitzy! You can do it, boy!
They don't know what to throw you, Fitzy!
Oh, it was beautiful.
Dude's coming out there looking like Steve Belichick. Like, what?
How about Euclid with the call? His homer calls have just been amazing.
They've been good. They've
been
good.
Like I said, I can't wait until we get to hear him and Eck calling a game together. Hey, you also wanted to talk about Christian Coss.
Christian Coss is another one of these guys that no one had really seen or heard much of unless you follow the minor leagues like Ed does. And this guy has impressed. He had a 2-homer game, including the walk-off 2 games ago, and he's just been out there raking. And to me, it makes me think like this farm system has come a long way under Chaim Bloom's tutelage and under his skillful crafting. You know, after Dombrowski, it was completely decimated, and now we're seeing a lot of sparks for the future.
We went from, I believe it was ranked 23rd after Dombrowski when Chaim Bloom came in. Then we shot up to 20. And then, though it could have been due to a few trades here and there, we are now ranked 11th.
Yeah, they've got the high-end guys. They just got to keep building some of that depth. Get that prospect depth. This team's so like well set up for the future. Like at this moment, we just need like some outfield prospects, and like then we'll be looking fucking aces.
See, that's what I'm liking about like Fitzy and stuff like that is those dudes are playing the outfield, and that's good for the future. Whenever guys like JBJ simply aren't getting it done anymore, you can bring up guys like this to plug in. And Jaron Duran is waiting in the wings, and that's another dude that's an absolute stud, and he's looking like he's going to come in with a renewed confidence this year. Last year was a little bit down for him at the major league level, but he's coming in, and his first interview was like, I'm just going to have fun this year. And when baseball players are out there and they're having fun, that's usually when they're performing at their best.
Need to have fun, man. So, all right, guys, we are going to wrap this up. Thank you, everybody, for chiming in on Facebook. Always welcome the questions, the comments, even some that are negative. We'll talk about as well. But we will be doing this more often. Please check out our Facebook page, facebook.com/Pesky Report. And we are on Twitter and Instagram, also at Pesky, twitter.com/Pesky Report, instagram.com/Pesky Report. Make sure to go check out our merch store, beacons.com, AI/the Pesky Report. We have a bunch of links there that you can check out, along with the schedule for the Boston Red Sox, the Woo Sox, and the other minor league affiliates, Greenville and Portland. Next episode, we will be talking more Major League Baseball news, more expanded stuff, talking about the trades and things that happened with Atlanta, Freeman going to the Dodgers and whatnot. Brandon, thank you for popping on for an emergency podcast. The same with you, Hogdale. I know, Brandon, you were out shopping or doing some doing family things, and it's I can't wait. This is going to be a good year. I have a feeling. I had a feeling before we got Story. That story just hits different now.
It was a good story. And I hope the storied career in Boston for Trevor is fantastic. See what I did there?
I do.
But yeah,
I
I was out shopping, Brad, and whenever the news broke, I saw it on my phone, and I was like, okay, this is good enough for now. I went and I paid for my items, and now I've got to leave to go back to the store to finish shopping.
What a maniac. That's dedication.
That is dedication. That is dedication. I just love the fact that I woke Brady up telling him he was wrong.
But yeah, man. Can't wait to see the rest of the rest of the story on his career. Get it? Because story. It's like a book and like a tale, a fable. Other synonym.
Who was that? And now you know the rest of the story. Paul Harvey, was that his name? Is that who that was?
All right.
The Boston Globe just got so many headlines this season. Like they're happy.
Every time he has a big game or whatever. It's going to be
They're
fun.
popping off like those fucking soccer players crying and hugging each other. Like that's them. That's the Boston Globe right now.
All right, gentlemen. All right. Everybody else, take it easy.
Thank you for listening to the Pesky Report. Make sure to follow us on social media at Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Pesky Report. No matter what platform you're listening to us on, please make sure to leave us a review and a comment and let us know how we're doing. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode.
Thank you for listening to this Belly Up Sports Podcast Network product. Some said we go belly up, so we made it our name, and we're still here.